Welcome to Hamilton Kirikiriroa, soon to be International Airport. Currently inbound from Sydney is Jetstar flight 165, which will be shortly arriving. Today I'm going to be flying back to Australia on the inaugural flight from this airport. When Jetstar first revealed their newest inaugural flights to New Zealand back in September of 2024, I initially wanted to try all three of them. However, not a single flight suited my availability back then. Fortunately, however, due to a change in jobs, my availability very briefly opened up, and I was able to snag a relatively cheap last-minute deal on this flight. Hamilton, or Kirikiriroa in the native Maori tongue, is the largest inland city on the northern island of New Zealand. Home to roughly 190,000 people, this city is also now the international gateway to the Waikato and Waipo districts, including direct services to several famous sites like the Waitomo glowworm caves and the Hobbiton movie set in Matamata. Located roughly 9 kilometers or 5.5 miles to the southeast of the city, Hamilton International Airport is the primary airport serving the city it's named after and the district it's located in. From here you can fly to 7 domestic destinations across 3 airlines, but what I'm interested in today is one of the 2 brand new international routes to Australia. Check-in for Jetstar can be found on the left-hand side of the building, right next to Origin Air and of course Air New Zealand. However, interestingly, there are no self-service kiosks like I am used to, and as such a manual check-in was required. Check-in today was very quick and easy, as most passengers had already checked in before I had even arrived at the airport. Once my bag was tagged and sent on its way, I made my way back to the centre of the building to await a speech from Chief Executive Mark Morgan and view the fantastic cake waiting to be cut. Adjacent to the media are several plaques with information about the history of this airport, dating all the way back to the 1940s when Air New Zealand came into existence, including when Pacific Blue operated here and even when a 767 landed here in 1999. However, upon checking the time and flight radar 24, the star of the show was about to arrive, so I quickly made my way outside to view its arrival. Landing on runway 18 left is the aircraft about to commence today's inaugural flight, which today is an Airbus A320-200, registered as Victor Hotel X-Ray Sierra Juliet. The construction of this airframe was completed in January of 2013 at Airbus's final assembly line in Toulouse, France. She was initially sent to Jetstar Asia under 9 Victor Juliet Sierra Tango before moving to Jetstar Australia in March of 2014, making this aircraft 12 years old. With the aircraft now on stand, I quickly turned around and made my way back inside the terminal to complete the necessary formalities before boarding was to commence. Heading up the stairs is a fairly large waiting area with floor-to-ceiling window views of the apron and quite possibly the largest number of people ever seen here at this airport. The security checkpoint and immigration area is located in the far left-hand corner of the waiting area, adjacent to the bar. Security today was very friendly and they were curious about my filming equipment. However, their curiosity was based more in the interest of safety and, well, security rather than wanting to have a chat, as I was subjected to a thorough inspection. Immigration, much like security, was completely empty, so I basically walked through the whole process. After this is a very small duty-free shopping area, to which you were directly forced into. However, in saying that, this duty-free area is different as this is privately owned by a family rather than the large supermarket-style one that you would see at larger international airports, such as at Auckland. I thought it was rather cute, and I also had a pleasant conversation with the staff on duty who were equally excited about this flight as we were. After duty free is a small cafe with many food options to choose from, as well as a semi-large waiting area, perfect size for a single 180-seat aircraft. Upon entering the duty-free area, all passengers were given a muesli bar with a choice of choc oat or apricot, which was a very nice touch and not something you'd normally see. Boarding commenced slightly late at Gate 1 after I had arrived, and it began in no particular order, basically first come first serve, which was expected. Jetstar's Airbus A320-200 COs, or simply the standard A320, have two different configurations depending on the aircraft's age. This particular aircraft is in an all-economy class layout with 186 seats in a 3-3 layout. Today, I shall be seated in 26 Alpha on the port side or left-hand side of the aircraft. Jetstar has opted for the Recaro BL3530 seat. My seat features 28.5 inches or 72 centimeters of pitch and 17.5 inches or 44 centimeters of width. There is a standard tray table which folds down and extends towards you. In the seat pocket, you'll find a standard safety card, buy onboard menu, and 2 air sickness bags. Above are a trio of individual reading lights, air vents, and 2 flight attendant call buttons. Soon the main cabin door was closed and the engines fired up, 8 minutes behind our scheduled departure time.
Hello again. We want you to have a safe and enjoyable flight, so please listen closely while we take you through the safety requirements for our Airbus A320. Seatbelt fastened. To fasten your seatbelt, clip the buckle and clasp, and pull on the loose strap to tighten. Undo the seatbelt.
Please do not place personal electronic devices between the seats. If your device becomes damaged, hot, smoking or lost on the seat, please notify a crew member immediately. Do not attempt to retrieve it or move the seat, thank you.
We taxied to runway 18 left via Alpha 1 and runway 36 right. Now please enjoy this unedited takeoff. After takeoff, we made a sharp right-hand turn south of the airfield to set up a westerly course for Sydney. Flight time today is 3 hours, covering a distance of 1,414 miles or 2,275 kilometers, cruising at flight level 340 and flight level 280. Once in the air and during our initial climb, down below was the small town of Tiawamutu, which is famous for its plentiful rose gardens in the centre of the town. Shortly after, in the distance, was the second highest mountain on the North Island, Mount Taranaki. However, much more closer to the aircraft was the seaside village of Kawhia, which interestingly is split into 2 separate sections on the island. After leaving New Zealand behind and with Mount Taranaki in the distance, the cabin crew began their in-flight service, which started out with the handing of Australia's incoming passenger card. Jetstar offers a paid streaming service called Jetstar Entertainment Plus that allows you to stream a variety of different movies, TV shows, games and music, whilst in flight and on your personal device. The whole service costs $7 for the entire length of the flight. However, unfortunately today the service was not available. Jetstar does not offer complimentary food on board their flights unless you book a certain fare type, which will give you a meal voucher, usually of $10. To celebrate this inaugural flight, I decided to buy myself the Me Time combo, which comes with a choice of cheese and crackers or Pringles, salami sticks or olives, and a small bottle of either red wine, white wine, or sparkling wine. And I of course chose the sparkling wine, as well as Pringles and salami sticks. On board the aircraft are 3 bathrooms, 2 at the rear and 1 at the front of the aircraft. Inside is everything you would typically come to expect for this aircraft type, including the Qantas branded hand and soap and large baby changing station. Before returning to my seat, I decided to have a good 45-minute chat with the crew about multiple different topics, and one such topic that was brought up was the viability of this flight, and whether or not it'll survive, which I won't discuss yet. I'll leave that for after landing. And I also bought myself a slice of lemon cake to take home. Soon we commenced our descent into Sydney. As the aircraft fell back to Earth over the Tasman Sea, I was grateful that the previously forecasted turbulence did not come to fruition. Approximately 1 hour into the flight, and whilst cruising at 34,000 feet, the captain switched on the fasten seatbelt sign and made an announcement stating that severe turbulence was directly ahead, and that the aircraft would be descending to a lower altitude to escape it. When I looked at the wind after arriving on the ground, I quickly realized what we nearly encountered, which was 150 knot crosswinds due to the jet stream above, which are fast winds above in the atmosphere. These jet streams can be caused by temperature differences between the poles and equator, the Coriolis effect, or differential pressures. It just goes to show that even during cruise, the pilots are very much aware of the aircraft and its surroundings. Now please enjoy this unedited landing. After landing, we taxied back to the international terminal via Uniform 1, Lima, Alpha, Juliet and Yankee. We pulled into gate 51, 5 minutes ahead of our scheduled arrival time. Being the last passenger on board the aircraft, as I stepped off, I thanked the crew and pilots one final time for the fantastic service on board and for the flight itself, and I turned my attention away from that of Jetstar and towards reclaiming my bag and going home. So, I just flew on the first ever Jetstar service between Hamilton and Sydney. What are my thoughts? Well, as always, let's start from the beginning. The check-in experience at Hamilton was pretty typical of what you would come to expect for Jetstar. Easy and quick. I did find, however, that the ground experience here at Hamilton was very well organised, despite the sheer volume of people at the airport. Whether this was due to the inaugural flight or not, it was very good to see. Security and immigration were also very easy but very thorough, including an extensive bag search. However, like I said to them on site, it was definitely due to the pistol grip camera mount that I own, and I must admit, it looks incredibly suspicious. On board, the seat was as expected. The Recaro seats are comfy enough for Jetstar's short-haul flights, and I'm very glad that today's flight was only 3 hours. Anything longer than 4 or 5, and yeah, I'd be pretty sore. The food on board was also as expected. I rather like Jetstar's menu. It has quite a good selection, and even the wine is good, though I kinda wish they would change it up every now and again, like what Qantas does. And lastly, the crew on board were equally as excited about today's flight as the passengers were, being full of energy and more than willing to have a conversation during their downtime, which was great to see. So, would I recommend you to take this flight? Well, this is a Jetstar flight, so if you don't like Jetstar, don't even consider it. However, if you do like Jetstar, and you are either a Sydney or Hamilton local, and you need to travel between the two cities, then yeah, 100%. Let's just hope that this route lasts for years to come. Only time will tell. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you check out my other videos if you want to see more. And I have said this before, but I now have a Discord server. Feel free to join. The link can be found at the top of the description. And as always, feel free to press the notification button too, as it will let you know whenever I upload, which happens every Friday at 8 PM Sydney time. And I hope to see you all again in the next one. Mā te wā!